What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I did actually want to talk about the custom mode in this video. I do know a lot of people have probably been playing this. Now I have done a good amount here in the Hawaii Scenic Tour playlist, and I was like, you know what, I gotta talk about this a bit and give my honest thoughts on the entire thing. So as you all know, you're going to be able to basically go into every single playlist now and do the custom mode in them. On the top bar here, you're going to get around, let's say, 1200, maybe even 1000. I did notice every single one's going to be 4 there, 6, and then of course the 200 is 1200 points, or 1200 prestige tickets, and that every single playlist is going to have a title. I would probably say a title for 73 events is honestly pretty annoying. Now I am going to explain why I think that is, because we all have to agree, guys, like I get getting the prestige tickets from the main timeline here, but we can all agree they could have easily gave us a better reward than a title. Like if you're actually doing 60 or 70 events in some of these playlists and you get a title, which I admit right now I would say about 95+% of people don't even care about them, you're going to have to spend hours and hours in the custom mode to get the prestige tickets, and the main reward is going to be a title. Definitely pretty odd. But that's also going to bring me over to my next thing though. So we all do know every single playlist has it. I'm actually unlocking these now. Now some of them aren't going to be nearly as long, like this one here is only 29 events to get the maxed out thing there, then 38 for the title. You can see you're going to have to use certain vehicles and everything, so you don't have to use like a race car or something in an off-road one, which I would say is going to make sense. Like some of the playlists are pretty dang short. On the other hand, though, some of the playlists are going to take forever, like the one I was doing, which for some odd reason, I picked one of the longest playlists I did want to actually go through. But as you all can see, though, I have went around and did a lot of the events in this playlist. I wanted to go through and actually play it a bit before I was actually talking about it. Probably a better way to do things, I would think. But I did do a good amount of them, like Hypercar, Racing, Drift. These are all completely finished. You're going to see you don't have to do every single race with every single class, which is dope. Like you're not going to have to use a Hypercar in like an off-road event, which I would say makes sense, similar to the other playlists that you did see. But you can also go through, you have to do Monster, Rally, Demolition. I did some of them to complete like the entire bar on this side, which are then going to get 100 prestige tickets here, the entire side. It's normally like 7 to 9 events on this side, maybe 10 depending on the playlist. And then on the top, it's going to be around 9 to 10, sometimes maybe less depending on the playlist. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of races you have to do here. I admit though, this is going to be incredibly time consuming. I would say some of these might take maybe, I don't know, 10, 15, maybe 20 hours to do some of them. Might even actually take longer for one reason. Every race in this is going to take 3 to 5 minutes depending on the class, and you have what, 70 events here? So yeah, that's going to be a lot of time in a single playlist. Now you're probably going to be spending all this time on the custom mode, right? And well, that is probably going to be really good rewards, and a lot of your time is actually going to be used great. Am I right? Well, here's the thing about that. I would say to a certain extent, if you are going to be a newer player here in Motorfest, that yes, doing that is probably going to be great, and you're going to have a lot of custom mode races to do and things to go after because you're probably going to need the prestige tickets. The issue with that, guy, is heading over to the shop here though. Let's head over to prestige tickets. As you will see right here, I pretty much own legitimately everything. Like, yeah, I don't have a common tire, but do I really have to get crazy about a common tire? Like, probably not. It's not all that great. It's going to be legit an uncommon tire. Doesn't matter. Now, I admit, though, right now, the one thing that actually frustrated me a lot with this is I thought they were going to have a lot more items in this, man. The reason why I do say that is currently, guys, there's not that much in here. Now, I do understand you have to grind out the playlist and all that to get the actual prestige tickets to come in here and buy the items and actually be able to use them if you never played. That makes sense. But the thing is, though, a lot of the people in Motorfest have probably played Motorfest, or at least have played the Crew 2, a lot in the previous years before getting on this game. And that's the thing, though, like, I do understand if you haven't played the game, maybe you might have missed a season for, like, the Hoonigan cars or something. That makes complete sense. That way you can actually buy the cars. It is going to be a pretty dope feature. The thing is, though, if you've actually played the game a lot, guys, there is legitimately no reason to do the custom mode. The reason why I do say that is, what's the point of going in there and stacking all kinds of prestige tickets? Like right now, if I actually turned in the ones I have, I'd probably have around maybe 3,000. What am I going to do with it? Buy like an uncommon tire? You can't trade in like the prestige tickets for money, even though I don't need money because I have maxed out bucks currently. So what am I going to do with that? You guys know what would have been pretty dope? The amount of time and grinding you actually have to do in the custom mode, I would say they could have did something better. Why not have actual gold parts you can buy in the prestige store for maybe like, I don't know, 500 prestige tickets or something? You can buy the exact part you actually want, Maybe it could be a gold part, nitro chemist, loot digger, score breaker. You can legit buy that said part for whichever category you want with prestige tickets. Why not, right? That would probably encourage a lot more people to go after different part sets. I mean, heck, I would probably even buy some of those and experiment with different classes and all that because I have so many of the prestige tickets and I have all the items already. The issue I find with this, though, is a lot of players are probably veteran players that did play the Crew 2, though, and they're not going to have any reason to get some of these vehicles. Like, yeah, the vanity items are going to be cool if you missed them, like the Redline kit and all that, or something like the Underglows that you might have missed. Maybe you missed a Bugatti in a previous summit. Then yeah, that's going to be pretty cool, but once you actually buy them, you are probably going to have tens of thousands of tickets you don't even need. The thing about that, though, is again, what can you actually buy with them? One way I thought they probably could have did this is add all kinds of more stuff into the shop. I was really surprised they only gave us 3 summit cars on the top and 3 on the bottom, or at least toward the bottom, I guess you could say. Then they also gave us some old Hoonigan underglows and all that we didn't get, and some of that cool stuff. And then obviously we're going to get ourselves like the Liberty Walk underglow, like the Redliner kit. Like, I understand it, but again, I feel like they could have added way more to this. Now, I did actually hear they were going to be adding more stuff to this every season. I don't know how true that is, but it would probably make sense from like a content on their part standpoint. The reason why I said it like that is they probably didn't want to have everything in the game right away. They actually want to add more summit vehicles into this every couple of months, I would say does make sense. Older Motor Pass cars can probably show up in here, and some of the old cars can easily get here. But from the looks of it, though, I would probably say it's going to be mainly the summit vehicles, which I do know people probably want them. But here's my thing, though. I have been playing the Crew 2 a long time. I played the game for years and years. I loved it. I have been playing Motorfest legitimately since release. I pretty much have every single car in the game, and I do know a lot of players are probably fairly similar if they did end up playing the Crew 2. I was noticing a lot of people going, yo, the custom mode's going to be the brand new content. Like, there's so much content to do there. Here's the thing, though, guys. All the races are legit the same races we did do before. Now, I'm not trying to hate on this, but I have to be honest, man. This is what I do. I have to be real. This is also coming from someone who has over 900 hours in this game. Definitely would be a lot more if the game was actually better. I would admit that. Like, I'd be well over 1,000 if things were handled a tad differently with it. But I would say, though, seeing the custom mode like that and seeing all those races, I have actually done a lot of the races beforehand using many different classes to enjoy the game back then. And we're also talking like 8 to 9 months ago. Even before then, I was actually grinding out and just doing the races with different categories. The thing about that, though, is you did not get any prestige tickets, which I understand, like, it is a new mode they added. But again, guys, like, I have to admit it, like, what is the point of doing the custom mode if you own everything? You can't use anything else on prestige tickets. I have to admit it. They kind of missed the mark on the prestige tickets. Like, you could do so much more stuff with those. Why not trade in some prestige tickets for crew credits? Wouldn't that be kind of dope? Why not trade that in for money or something, like bundles of money, or trade it in for other cars you might have missed? And that's the thing, though, like, what I mean by other cars you might have missed is, what if you actually wanted to buy a car in the shop itself or something instead of using your bucks? Why not be able to use some prestige tickets on some of the cars, man? I mean, you're grinding out hundreds of races to actually get some of these, and all you can actually buy is some of the items in this tiny shop. Like, it's just weird to me, man. Like, when I was thinking about this before, I have been playing the game a bit. I've been going through that one playlist, and I was like, you know what? This is honestly kind of boring. Like, what is the point of me actually doing this? I pretty much own everything, and I'm going to go through and get some prestige tickets I can't even use on anything. I really feel like they could have easily added a lot more stuff into the shop that you could use with prestige tickets. Again, why not parts or something like that? Maybe some other vanity items, which I do understand they're adding those, but it is going to be old summits, and apparently every month they're adding more. I feel like they probably should have had a lot more than like maybe 7 or 8 items in there, at least on the release of this massive update that we actually had the custom mode added that was supposed to give players a chance to get all the old items that didn't get them. The thing is, though, what about the existing players that pretty much have everything? What is going to be the main motivation for most of those players to do the custom mode? That's honestly where I'm kind of at right now. Like, I love this game, but at the same time, guys, I have to admit, I just don't see a point of doing the custom mode. Like, there is not a reason to do it. And it is, as I mentioned before, going to legitimately be the exact same races we did before. I did actually see someone saying this game's now going to have over 1,000 race configurations. Like, yes, that's going to be true, but it also doesn't, because all the races are the same thing. So if you're actually doing one of the races in a tier 1, it's going to be the same thing in a hypercar, a racing. You're legit doing the exact same race in every single category. Like, who's going to want to do a 10-minute race or a 7-minute race on a motocross bike, man? Like, for example, in the Hawaii Scenic Tour playlist, you are going to have to do the super long race, which I think is around 3 to 5 minutes on most of the fast classes, like even an Alpha GP or like a hypercar. You're still looking at around 3.5, maybe 4 minutes or so. In a street tier 1 car, you're probably looking at over 6 minutes, which means you're going to be even slower in a motocross or demolition derby. You're probably looking at, what, 9 to 10 minutes, and the only thing you're probably going to get out of that is some prestige tickets, or at least you won't get any, because you have to do all the other classes in that said category for that race, which I would say is going to be incredibly time consuming for not a lot of stuff. Like, I have to say it. Don't get me wrong, guys, I was seeing what they were trying to do with this, introducing more events into the game, and that was actually something I was seeing on a lot of different platforms, and you guys all do know I like speaking my honest thoughts on this stuff. And when I was seeing, yo, we're getting the custom mode, people are like, yo, there's going to be over 1,000 new races. Technically, guys, as I mentioned, they're not actually new. They're the same races we've already done the previous year. But now you're actually going to get something out of it, which is going to be prestige tickets for using other classes in those same events we've already done. Like, I do understand it, but really, I have to say it, I really wanted more variety in the events themselves. What I mean by that is I want more actual rallycross races and more motocross events, even actual demolition derby events. Like, what happened to the figure 8 races with those things popping out from the Crew 2 that smash you? What happened to the actual demolition derby things when you're all in like an arena and you smash each other? What about having more rally raid and off-road races for rallycross? Like, we just got Maui, which I am going to touch on that in a video, guys. Do stay tuned for that. That is going to be my honest thoughts on Maui. That is going to be a pretty interesting one. Might spark some different conversations, but that's kind of the big point of it. And I would say people might look at this and go, well, you know what, you got a point there. Yes, these are going to be a lot more races for the same playlist we've already done, but it's not going to be new though. Like, nobody actually wants to use a motocross bike on a 10-minute road race. Like, even doing the longer race with a monster truck, I was like, man, I'm going to have to do this with a demolition derby and a motocross bike. For prestige tickets, I legitimately can't even use. Like, I feel like players are going to love this, and they're also going to hate the custom mode design. And that's the thing though, the reason why I say people will hate the custom mode design is if you are actually an existing player that had played the previous games and have most of the rewards, which I'm going to guess right now a big percent of the player base probably is in that category. I would like to guess right now that, yeah, you might be missing 1 or 2 cars. You could probably buy 1 or 2 of the vehicles with doing 2 of the playlists. That is it. Maybe even 3 of them fully through, like go through and do like 1 event with each car, get it done. That way you'd actually have some more prestige tickets and all that. But the thing is though, if you've done legitimately everything, having prestige tickets doesn't matter, unfortunately. And I say this with me being a tad upset about it. Like, I did actually want to go through and do some of the events, but right now I just don't really have an incentive to go through and actually do them, with them being nothing else I can actually buy with prestige tickets. And that's the thing though, like, I was actually thinking about this going, you know what, let me go ask a few people what they think, and it turns out they are legitimately thinking the exact same thing. Like, they have no incentive to do it. And I was like, man, I guess I'm not the only one thinking this stuff. Like, it is a fun concept, but they pretty much have to add way more stuff into this that will help existing players enjoy it. I would say a majority of the fan base already has done most of this stuff in these races with different classes, so why actually go back in for prestige tickets if you own everything already? They probably could have had a couple of different shops in there with prestige tickets where you could buy parts, I don't know, extra vanity items, all kinds of different vanities, maybe different cars and all kinds of different things. I don't know, special paint jobs or something. I don't know, man. Like, even add parts in there you could buy with them. Like, there could be so many different things they could do in that would actually make the prestige tickets a lot more valuable and at least make you want to go after them. I do want to know what you guys think about the custom mode in the comments below. With me almost finishing the Hawaii Scenic Tour one, I probably will finish it just to see how it's going to be doing some of the longer race in a motocross, a demolition derby car. I actually want to see how they are going to be with those vehicles being used in the events. But after that though, I'm going to admit I'm probably not going to do the other ones, at least for right now though. And yeah, I could easily go in and most likely stack a bunch of prestige tickets and all that, go through every single playlist, do all the events, and then sit on like 10, 15, 25,000 prestige tickets. But the thing is though, if you already own everything, what are you actually going to do with it? And I do hate to say this though, it's probably going to be months and months before we do see more stuff added. And that's the thing though, like, I would probably say at least right now they're probably going to be adding new stuff into the custom shop every single month. At least I would say they probably need to be adding stuff into it every single month, to at least keep the custom mode a tad more fresh in certain areas. But again, guys, I'm really curious to know what you think about the custom mode in the comments below.